everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Laps Down podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
And we are so excited to be back for another episode. This one with an Indycar race, an F1 race, and a NASCAR race. Can you believe? I think this is our first triple header of the year.
Yeah, I think so.
That's exciting.
Wow.
Also exciting, this is our 6-month anniversary episode. So thank you for everybody that's been listening since the beginning. And also, welcome if you're new here. We've had some new faces the last couple weeks, and we are really excited for the next 6 months. I don't know. It could get more fun. Maybe in the next 6 months we'll go to the Roval. I don't know. Anything could happen.
Maybe. I sure hope so.
But if you guys are looking to do something nice for us to celebrate, be so welcome to leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you listen on. Subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, especially if we've been listening for a while, what's the hurt in leaving a review? You know what I mean? What's the harm? Right. Okay. Tough crowd tonight. We also, exciting, have a new episode coming out on Wednesday of our Lapped Traffic series. And this one is really good, guys. It's really good. I think you guys are really going to like it. So with that, we can kick it off with NASCAR. Want to kick it off with NASCAR?
Let's kick it off with NASCAR.
Okay, let's just get straight to the point so we don't forget. Fan favorite. Also, we had a great suggestion from Dan, who listens, of at the halfway point putting together a graphic of all of our fan favorite votes so you guys can keep track of it. And me and MJ agreed that that's a really good idea. So thank you for suggesting it, Dan. Be on the lookout. Maybe we'll do a quarter season check-in.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll do a little quarter update.
Quarter update.
But the only thing I was thinking about is I don't want to accidentally subconsciously skew the vote if we look and we're wow, it's so crazy that Daniel Suarez is the only one with 12 votes and we're only right. 13 races in. I don't want to be okay, well, now I have to give Daniel Suarez all my votes, but I guess I'll just try to be unbiased.
Yeah, you can do it.
Whatever.
I believe in you. Do you know who your fan favorite is for this week, or do you need a minute?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. So I'm really torn with mine because, it's the same situation, but it could go two ways. But I've decided that one person has just a little extra to tip them over the scale. So this week it is going to Carson Hocevar. I know Carson Hocevar is a fan favorite star, and I feel bad giving him all my votes, but he just keeps doing stuff that's worthy of it. First of all, he was in the all-driver broadcast of the truck race, and he was the pit road reporter, and he took it so seriously. He genuinely was acting like he was Jamie Little or whatever her name was. He was taking it so seriously, which is funny because me and MJ were talking about he was probably hired to be funny, and he was no, I'm a broadcaster. But he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt with a blazer, which I just think is funny. He also did a video for the NASCAR socials that's a GTA edit sort of thing, and it's very good. Great acting from Carson. He walked like a GTA character, and it was really funny. And then last but not least, the thing that I almost gave my vote to Kyle Busch for, but it actually belongs to Carson Hocevar, is that Kyle Busch went on a podcast. He was talking about how much he hates Carson Hocevar because one time when he was 14 in Kalamazoo, Michigan, he sideswiped Kyle Busch and didn't even say I'm sorry and just kept driving and ruined Kyle Busch's race. And it's funny because it's part of me is that's funny that Kyle Busch would have a beef with a 14-year-old Carson Hocevar. But it's even funnier that Carson lives rent-free in Kyle Busch's mind, that he was so ready to tell that story and was he had it ready. He was I can tell you exactly why I hate Carson Hocevar. It all started in the year 2013 or something like that. And that's so funny to me. So that's why my fan favorite is going to Carson Hocevar. What about you?
That's a really good one. Mine's less good, less detailed. I think my fan favorite is Alex Bowman because he had the, what is the league called? Oh, shoot. I should have looked that up. But he had the paint scheme for the new professional women's 3-on-3 league, and he did a little activation where he went to the game and he had to read a few lines, and it was kind of scripted, and it was just very like awkward but endearing, and for that reason alone, I think he deserves my fan favorite. He stepped out of his comfort zone. I feel like we don't see a lot of. It's not that we don't see a lot of personality out of him. He just doesn't get a lot of screen time. So I appreciated that.
That's the thing, is that when he does get screen time, it's like well fought for. He deserves it.
Yeah.
And he delivers. And we really appreciate that about Alex Bowman. And I loved his little paint scheme this weekend. He had the purple and the pink for I think it's Unrivaled. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, Unrivaled.
Unrivaled.
3-on-3.
Okay. I had to turn my microphone off while you were talking the whole time because there was literally the loudest siren I've ever heard happening outside my apartment. So podcasting is really hard. So
quite upset, guys. Please.
Please. Speaking of the truck race, we'll just touch on it briefly. They had, like I said, an all-driver broadcast. They had Joey Logano and Brad in the actual commentator booth.
The booth.
That's pretty on par. They do that quite often. They both are pretty good at it. But then they had, like I said, Carson Hocevar in the pit road, and they had Austin Cindric just in the crowd interviewing people, which I thought was really funny because it was he didn't get a lot of screen time, and I like to think it's because he just couldn't find people in the crowd, dude. Everybody was probably really weird because the crowds were pretty empty. The only people that were there were Kyle Larson fanboys, it seemed, and that's because Kyle Larson decided to go pick on children and do the truck race and the Xfinity race. He did win the truck race and the Xfinity race, and then spoiler alert, I guess, he won the Cup race.
Did he win the Xfinity race?
No. Did I say he did?
Okay. Yeah. I was just maybe he did. I don't know. I believe you.
I don't know. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry, guys. I blacked out for a second. I guess in my nightmares he did. But I guess this is what we get for picking on Kyle on the podcast last week. We said he's a bridesmaid, never the bride. And he's the bride now. He took the moment away from Alex Bowman, though. He almost was the bride. He took it away from him with 10 laps to go. It was really sad for me and MJ specifically. But we also, not much happened in the NASCAR race, I'm going to be honest. Blaney dominated stage one. He was leading all of the laps of stage one. He was getting fastest lap after faster lap. He was just zooming. And then what do you know? It doesn't really matter because his engine exploded in stage two. It really actually exploded. It was a lot of smoke. It was
on fire.
Really bad. Yeah.
We could see flame.
The commentators were we gotta get a fire extinguisher on.
Yeah, they're actually, this is an issue. They should get him out of the car.
The camera
so true.
Zooming in on the fire. I was you don't have to zoom in on it.
We can see it.
See the fire. It's not good. But what did Ryan Blaney do? Does somebody out there have a voodoo doll of Ryan Blaney? What is your issue, guys? Because this is the second time this has happened to him?
Yeah, the second time in 3 races. That's, look, not a big stats girly. Don't really know a lot about fractions, but that does not feel good saying it out loud. And he's always so close. Is he the new? He's the new bridesmaid, I fear.
But he's the sad bridesmaid that she was engaged once, but her engagement didn't work out, and now she has to going to weddings is kind of torturous for her, and she has to go and smile in the front with the bride that she wishes was her.
Yeah, she's helping the bride pick out the decorations, and she's well, this is what I was going to use for my wedding, and I think it'll look lovely on you.
Oh, Ryan, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I feel really bad for him. And we were talking what is up with Penske? Washed?
Is Penske the worst they've ever been this one weekend?
That's gonna be our clickbait title for sure. Penske washed.
Penske is washed.
Well,
that would be my dream.
Has none of the Penske drivers have won a race yet? We even drove in Phoenix. They didn't even win that.
That's true.
That's what you guys are supposed to be good at. What are you guys doing? I put you on my fantasy team specifically to win that race, Ryan.
I did too. Yeah, Joey Logano too. I was this is your first year. It wasn't.
Yeah, Joey's not been doing that hot. I think he was
Austin
the highest
Cindric.
placing... Talk about a bridesmaid, never the bride.
Dude, he's not even a bridesmaid. He's what is it called? A junior bridesmaid. He's the flower girl where it's you walk down the aisle and then I don't want to see you again. Go sit with the grandparents, find something to do.
No, Austin Cindric, he won the duel in Daytona, so I guess that's a Penske win. right? But he stole it from somebody else.
Literally years ago. Yeah. I don't even remember that race.
Well, Bubba won one of those too, and I remember that one.
Well, that one was important. That was different.
That's when Austin Cindric picked on Eric Jones. They can't even win their own races. They got to pick on Eric Jones.
Dude, Eric Jones didn't deserve that.
Penske washed. You heard it here first, people. I've about had it with them. Also, speaking of Penske washed, there was a crash in pit road between Logano and Barry. And in the process, they put a hole in Kyle Larson's car. And I was honestly like, get him, girls. Like, because I just really didn't want Kyle Larson to win, specifically this weekend. I don't know. It was just like, it wasn't going to work out well for my fantasy team. So I couldn't have him win. And, yeah, they like put a hole in Kyle Larson's door by crashing into each other in pit road. But they also like spun each other around. And also,
I saw that.
Spun around. Well, everybody's spinning in the pit road. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up. I'm sorry. And then the only other thing really that happened, I guess, is that Denny won stage 2 just barely. He like beat Kyle Larson to the line by like fucking inches. And so, I don't know. It was a pretty boring race, though. I don't know.
Dude,
I thought Homestead was really fun.
I was watching the IndyCar race, but I always have my Jeff Gluck and Bob Pockrass notifications on because I have severe FOMO. It's untreatable. But so I was like watching, and they were both going. They were like, "What the fuck is Carson Hocevar doing?" They're like, "Wait, the kid is cooking." They're like, "He's been out for how is he out for an extra 12 laps without pitting?" And then suddenly I see I get a little message from Jeff Gluck that says like Carson battery issue or something, like Carson to the garage. And I was like, fuck. He was my multiplier on my fantasy team.
Oh no. I feel like there is something that's kind of cute about NASCAR and sometimes IndyCar. They don't do this in F1. They're too pessimistic in F1. It's like when somebody's on like a crazy alternate strategy, they're always like, "Oh my god, like do they know something we don't? Like this is so exciting." And it's like when is it okay to just be like, it was probably just a bad idea?
No, but I feel like with Carson it wasn't, because wasn't he running top 10 like that whole time?
Yeah, because he didn't pit.
Yeah, so he was doing fine.
Yeah, but like that wouldn't have lasted the whole time.
We don't, and there's literally no way for us to know that, no way Andrea.
To know this car died.
So what I'm hearing is it was a flawless, to our knowledge, strategy.
Okay. I can't argue with that logic because it's just not logical. So we'll just move on.
Yeah, it's just I just really needed them in fantasy this week.
So that's all that happened in NASCAR. I don't know. It wasn't really that fun. I didn't have a what would you rate that race? 7 out of 10? No, that's too high. 6 out of 10.
I didn't watch it. Yeah, right. I was gonna say.
Also, hey, just an idea. We're about to talk about IndyCar. If I were IndyCar and I was on Fox, I'd really try to do it at a different time of the NASCAR race that's also on Fox. Right? Right.
Yeah.
They're also on opposite coasts of each other. Like one was in California and one was in Florida. So like you can't even be like, oh, well that was just the time the event was. It was like, well the event didn't have to be at that time. They could have done the IndyCar race later.
Didn't make a whole lot of sense, especially because you're like taking viewership away from, because most people I feel like probably weren't watching both of them.
Yeah, only the crazies like us.
So true.
So true. But like I thought like we wanted NASCAR fans to watch IndyCar.
I kind of have this feeling, just with the way that Fox has been acting, that they're just trying to shit on NASCAR now. Like with all of did you see the list of changes that came out from Fox who were like, these are the changes that, like, we listened to you guys. We heard your complaints from the first IndyCar broadcast, and we're making all of these changes to, like, fix the issues from the first broadcast. And then all of the NASCAR fans in the comments are like, hey, we've been watching for 4 years and asking for these same things. Like, are you ever gonna listen to us?
They're like, we're gonna block you, by the way. If you comment anything about NASCAR in this comment section. Blocked.
I don't know if I know what NASCAR is. You mean the NHRA? Like, I'm just not familiar. We're an IndyCar only. But I can't help but think anything different because I don't know why you would put them on at the same time, especially when they have such a large crossover.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know, on a TV
Was one of the changes
channel.
Was one of the changes the cartoons?
Yeah.
What other changes were there? Or was it just
They got rid of the
cartoons?
cartoons. There was something with like the timing. Oh, they were also going to put arrows. Yeah, having it. Which I think they did a good job fixing that, to be fair.
That's good. That's important.
We appreciate that. They put the tires on now, like the tire types. However, they did soft and hards versus primaries and alternates, which I was like, not a huge deal for me because I watch F1, but I think if I was like one of those IndyCar truthers, I'd kind of be like, we don't call them softs and hards, we call them primaries and alternates. But they didn't do that. And then they also said, oh, and we're going to add arrows to the cars so you can tell, like, you watching at home and then the broadcasters who are, like, actively saying which car is which can tell which car is which, like, in case there's, like, a first lap collision like there was last time. Right. And they were like, I'm not sure who that is. But, so they made changes that we, that's helpful. Directly asked for.
That's good. Wow. They're listening to the people.
Crazy concept.
We'll get to how well that worked out for them in the broadcasting arena this weekend. But we also, before we get into the race, I wanted to bring up that there's a Dogecoin sponsorship for the Indy 500. What do we think about that? It's Devlin. Devlin's what a villainous name. Devlin is driving the Dogecoin car.
I'm Devlin.
It's like,
he's gonna steal something.
Of course, Devlin's doing the crypto scam car. Whatever.
It's just
sure.
And it's like an option where you can vote between like 3 of like the most like cringe. There's like one that's a banana, one that's like multicolored. I don't know. They tried
to act like the different like paint schemes assigned like a power to them. Like they were like, this car goes super fast because it's rainbow themed. I'm like, oh. This isn't Mario Kart. This is actually real life. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
This is real life. This is the Indy 500. We don't joke about the Indy 500. But I mean, good thing it's Devlin because it's not, frankly, going to get a whole lot of airtime at the Indy 500. Maybe it'll only get, like, just the beginning of qualifying.
Yeah, right. If we're lucky. Hey, if we're lucky.
It's just so... The crypto stuff is, like, incredibly cringe to me, especially on... like Indy cars. It's like, just be like everybody else and just do like a grocery store or like some random like
bank
tech software or like, yeah, a bank or like literally anything. Genuinely, literally, physically anything else.
I think my only criteria really at this point for sponsors is that it's real. And crypto, it's like up in the air sometimes. I'm like, I don't think it's real. I'm sorry. I don't think this is a real thing. I've never heard of this in my life. Like Dogecoin, I obviously have, but like some of the other crypto stuff, I literally am like, never heard of that in my fucking life. So probably not real, in my opinion.
It also seems like, hey, this isn't going to be your audience for crypto. But maybe it's like, because they're banking on Fox, like, maybe Fox thinks a bunch of, like, frat boys are going to tune into the Indy 500 because they're making it, like, a horse race betting type situation. They're like, oh, no, this is
I don't think they're going to fuck with Devlin, though. Like...
Maybe, they won't tune into that part. They'll only see the car on the track. And they'll be like, wow, that car's doing so bad. I should invest in the crypto.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. It's like when these brands, like, pick the car. Like, okay, I would be the worst brand, like, sponsor person because I'd be like, yeah, can we get somebody good, probably?
I would be like, yeah, I only want to be on Alex Palou's car. Just don't put me on a car.
Yeah, like, I'd be like, right, so Devlin sucks, and my brand doesn't suck. So I feel like this is already a bad association.
Weird. But his
coin chose him.
Well, his family did the crypto thing, didn't they? No, all of a sudden it's like connecting the dots. Yeah, no, that makes sense, actually.
Likely place for Devlin to be. Sure. So the race started with a McLaren 1-2 in qualifying, which I think was like the first time this has happened in a good fair amount of time. I don't remember the exact stat, but I remember thinking, wow, that was a long time ago. And I was like, damn, Pato and Christian popped off. But I don't know. I'll let you take it from here. You watch the IndyCar more.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was from the start. We were like, yeah, we're going to have a McLaren 1-2 at the end. I mean, they were faster than any other car out there. So there was, like, they had good pits. There was literally no reason besides the one reason it didn't happen that it wouldn't happen.
We'll get to that. Yeah. It's like there's only one person who could fuck this up for us.
Yeah. So they were starting at the top, front row lockout. First lap was our first incident. Well, like end of formation lap, like before the green, obviously. Talking about our fan favorite Devlin decided to, before they went over the start finish line, decided to just like sideswipe Scotty Mac. I think, like, I don't think it was intentional by Devlin. I think he just like mishandled whatever. It was an issue. It hit Scotty Mac, and then he got car. Right, and then he got a penalty. So like that was kind of that. But it did obviously drop Scotty Mac to the back, and then he later had issues overheating hybrid, which the broadcast kept kind of glazing the hybrid. They're probably paid to do it, but just the fact that Townsend Bowe was like, yeah, in the time that we've had the hybrids, we haven't really had any issues with it. I was like,
are we watching the same series?
We who? Because I know those guys have. It's like, but
hey, do you want to tell fucking Colin Hurta's therapist that? I think she would disagree.
Literally, some of these drivers are seeing the hybrid in their dreams. Scott Dixon is seeing the hybrid in his worst nightmares.
But all right. What do you say, Townsend Bowe?
He's getting on my nerves. Especially because now that we have, like, Will Buxton, I was like, wait, we can have, like, really good commentary.
The only thing I love Will Buxton for is that he always fucks up what car gets in a wreck, and then James has to like
100% of the time.
He's so bad at that. Like whenever something happens, my favorite is he was talking about Nolan Siegel today, and he said something about it being Scott Dixon. Which, to be fair, Nolan Siegel's car
they look
deceiving as hell.
Similar,
but James is like, nope, different person. That's Nolan Siegel. Keep talking. He's like, don't mean to interrupt. Completely different person. No worries.
Keep going. No, today he tried to make like a connection. He's like, yeah, well, at my old job, we used to do like team orders and stuff like that. Because they were trying to talk about like Nolan Siegel blocking Alex Palou as he was hunting down whatever he wanted. Yeah, and Will referred to it as his old job. And I was like, that's funny. I was like, we know, hey, bud, we know where you're from.
You can say F1 TV. It's fair.
You can say it. Yeah, but then Scotty Mac, he had the overheating hybrid. He rejoined eventually. He was 6 laps down, and then eventually DNF'd because hybrid issue, Devlin issue. And then this great piece of content came out where him and Devlin were going at it in like Devlin's little pit box. And Scotty Mac was like, you hit me. And Devlin's like, watch the video. I'll show you the video. I didn't hit you. You ran into me. And I'm like, there's not even like a way that could have happened. Like, bud, just take your losses. Be like, sorry, I got the penalty. Well, my bad.
My favorite is Devlin goes, we're supposed to go side by side around the corner. And everybody in the comments is like, yeah, you're supposed to go side by side. That's why it's weird that you ran into him.
Literally. You went into his side. I don't know if that's what you, like, miscommunication.
One of the lamest things you can say in a verbal altercation is, I'll show you the video in like the most whiny tone ever. It's like, what are you going to do, buddy? Pull out an iPad? Like, Scott doesn't need to see the video. He saw you run into him.
It was in the car.
And Scott like getting down on his level and doing like Italian frustrated hands. Like, I was like, what is, you got Scotty Mac so pissed he has to do whatever this is while he's arguing with you.
But that was our first. I wonder if they'll pull out do you think they'll pull out the hate cauldron? No, because it's not like 3 weeks until,
Yeah, they gotta let it simmer a little.
Devlin's already back to a good start. I think he ended like P25 or something. Whatever, who cares?
Wow.
Robert Schwarzman also had quite the weekend. I'm starting to
bad for him. Like,
I know.
It becomes at a point where it's like, this is cruel and unusual punishment. This is mean.
And for a rookie, like, especially, like, if it was Scott Dixon, I'd be like, well, you know, he has 6 championships. He's driven in an Indycar before. He'll be fine.
He's all right.
And then you've got Robert, who had just, like, a horrific weekend last weekend, 3 weeks ago, last weekend. And, like, the radio issues, whatever, couldn't really, I mean, it was just really bad. And then this weekend goes out for the first practice, and I remember texting you and be like, Robert's on fire. Like, the car's on fire.
And like, I remember responded, what? What do we mean by this? And you're like, it's on fire. It's whatever you think a car on fire looks like. I think there's one point where I tuned in and the commentators were talking about having to like pull pieces off that had melted together. And I was like, right, okay. So this is bad.
Yeah. So that happened in the first practice. And then I got the little, obviously, Bob Pockrass tweeted. Mm-hmm. He said they're going to have to rebuild the car. And I was like, ooh, not a lot of time to do that. And so He obviously didn't do practice number 2. I wasn't able to watch quali. I don't know whether he actually got a qualifier or not, but he started in the back. So I don't know if it really matters. But, and then the first lap, he also had a little bit of an incident, and we couldn't see it from the angle. We saw at first Will was like,
we got an onboard from Stingray Rob.
Right. An onboard from Stingray Rob, who was like back and diagonal to them. Yeah.
Well, of course he was in the back.
Yeah.
A likely place for him to be.
This has just become like a hater podcast. There are things we like, I promise.
I know. Hey guys, I'm gonna be honest. I love Stingray Rob in comparison to Devlin.
Oh yeah. I mean, that big potato he used to bring around. Like that did a lot for me, I gotta be honest.
Yeah. The worm? Loved it when he did that.
The worm was really good.
Anyways.
Multiple times he has pulled at the worm every time it hits.
Yeah. Continue with Robert Schwartzman's Week in Hell.
Yeah, so Will Buxton deemed it immediately. There was like a little bit of an accident. We saw the Italian, and we were the Italian car, and we were like, that must be Robert, the Italian. The Italian car, the Italian flag on the car.
The Italian showed up and said, that's a crash.
We saw the Italian, and Will Buxton goes, oh no, Robert's got damage. And they were like, okay, we're going to watch Robert's accident back. And then obviously James goes, no, that was Callum Ilott. And it kind of looks like, from the weird angle we got, it kind of looks like maybe someone in front of Robert just kind of checked up, Robert checked up, and then it didn't translate to Callum, and he kind of like launched off the back of the car, which those are not.
He got airtime.
He got lots of airtime. To be fair, we thought, yeah.
Yeah, he had time in the air.
He got time in the air. He had damage, but he did finish the race, but that was just like, Prema is really struggling for a minute in IndyCar in general. But then Robert, after that incident with Callum, still kind of popped up. He popped up to like 10 positions or something. I don't remember the exact number, but like I was kind of like, hey, Robert's cooking. I literally texted you and was like, hey, Robert's cooking, and this time he's not on fire. And then he just had a bad pit stop. I don't know.
They were goofing around.
I think like the rear wheels were spinning when he was on the jack or something. Failed pit stop. Got sent to the back, obviously, and in like P22, which is still up 5 spots from where he was, but he was cruising pretty well. So I don't know who jinxed Prema, but
and my question for you was, what does this mean for his rep?
Right. Yeah, keep eye on SoundCloud because big things happening, I'm sure.
Heater diss tracks for Callum Ilott running into the back of it.
Dude.
How did we get here?
We kind of have a working theory that no one's seen Roman Grosjean recently. Mm-hmm. Like, he's going around, he's fucking up the fuel tank. He's
it sounds so malicious. Nobody's seen him recently.
Nobody's seen him recently. He's like fully active on Instagram like every single day. And I'm like, no one sees him. He's sneaking around like Pink Panther style, like moving little things, dicking around. And then bada bing, bada boom, Robert Schwartzman gets like 3 laps total a weekend. And like, because he wants to drive, because they made the concept of a reserve driver in IndyCar, and now he's like, okay, well, I'm a reserve driver. Ooh, when's it's going to be my turn?
I think that he, like, is, like, he's under there being like, now, what happens if I move this just a couple inches to the right? Surely nothing that bad that'll, like, kill him or nothing. And then next thing you know, his car's on fire. He's like, oops. I didn't mean for that one to happen. My bad, guys.
Did I do that?
Yeah, no, I think... Fuck it. Give him a shot. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he should get to drive at least once, just for funsies.
I bet he will. I bet he'll do an oval. He's not that good at ovals. I don't know why they have him. So then Will Power. No. And then, so, like, lap 30 or something, I realized, I was like, we've had, like, 6 minutes of commercials. Like, that's kind of odd. And then suddenly NASCAR was playing on the TV.
Right.
And they're like, welcome the IndyCar fans. And I was like...
No, that was my favorite part. I was watching just the NASCAR. And then they go, and we're here to welcome all the IndyCar fans because your broadcast just cut out completely. Welcome to NASCAR. And I was like, sorry, what happened? And then I go to check my computer that was playing the IndyCar race on silent, and it was just NASCAR. And I was like, what? And then I noticed all these people talking on social media about why am I watching fucking NASCAR right now? But I love at the end, they dismissed the IndyCar viewers. Like the NASCAR
that was
announcers,
nice.
they were like, just so you guys know, if you really actually just want to watch IndyCar, they're playing it again. If you guys want to go back, they were like, we understand.
That was sweet. That was really nice of them. So it was, they lost power. One of the broadcasting trucks was the issue. And, like, as much as I want to be, like, frustrated, because I'm like, you're a bajillion-dollar corporation, you should be able to figure this shit out. I'm also like, oh, it was thermal, and I didn't have to watch 10 laps of it. So, like, honestly, God bless.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we didn't
totally
miss much.
fine. No. And they did a good job of, like, transferring us over to NASCAR, which was nice. And they did a good job of being like, here's what you missed, basically nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty big hiccup. I don't know how to justify that, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should have probably a backup power source of some
Probably.
type.
Like, you're in one of the richest neighborhoods in the country. You couldn't just ask for, like, someone else to bring out a generator or something? Just a thought.
So then I did notice one thing that we did miss a little bit while the broadcast was out, but it was all throughout the race, was Will Power was cooking just a little bit. I mean, to be fair, is it cooking if you start in the back of the grid where you probably shouldn't be?
According to the Penskes, this was cooking. He had the best finish of Penske this weekend. Something to think about. Penske washed sans Will Power. He doesn't count.
Right.
He's different. But he had like a good weekend. The whole weekend. Like was running top few in both of the practice, and then quali happened, and just obviously qualifying.
He said, what if I don't? He said,
is
what if
important.
I don't run well?
There had to have been an issue with his car or something. I just didn't see it. But he started P21 and then ended up P6. So he does get the biggest mover award. But he was just absolutely giddy on the radio. Man was having a good time. Just driving through the crowd.
That. Yeah, maybe he just needs to do that every weekend.
I mean,
keep
honestly,
his spirits
yeah.
up, you know? It's important in our old age that we have something to look forward to.
It's enrichment time for the older drivers. Put them in the back, see how far forward they can get.
See what happens. It'll be fun. So good for him. Not so good for Penske that that's their best finisher. Penske washed. So it's time to talk about this little friggin' sneaky Alex Palou being sneaky. Basically, he was in the top 5, like, the whole race. But, like, clearly behind the Aero McLarens. Like, they really had the most speed on track. They were fine. Everything was fine. And then Alex Palou, like, heard the commentators saying, like, he's probably not going to win this. And he was like, well, now you just pissed me off. So he went and pitted, from what I saw, specifically to fucking chase them down. Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're going
Yeah, he asked to pit. He was like, can I pit now? And they're like, yeah, if you want to. And so
he had an extra set of tires?
Sticker softs. Yeah.
Insane.
So it's hard to tell what was the preferred tire this weekend, which was really cool. Rossi was like, it's the red tires, and everyone else was like, I don't know about that. So pitted, got the sticker softs. And then after he did that, he came out behind Lundgaard, who had previously pitted. And mind you, I cannot emphasize enough, Pato had a 10-second lead. Mm-hmm. Like, he was having a different race. He was in a different era. Like, that kid was fine. So now he's hunting down, Palou's hunting down Lundgaard, and they're like, McLaren's like, fuck. Yeah. They're like, we've seen this movie before. They're like, let's quickly pit Pato. Let's put him on, I think they put him on hards.
Probably all they had left.
Yeah, I think so. And then we get to see this, like, beautiful battle between Christian and Palou over, like, 4 or 5 corners where it's just, overtake by Palou, and we're like, oh, yeah, Palou's got this. And then Christian comes back, and it's like, oh, no, Christian's got this.
Yeah, he was driving like a madman equally to Palou. I was like, that's kind of crazy.
Great weekend for him, honestly. And in such, like, a fast car, I was thankful that he could drive it.
Right.
Unlike maybe Nolan, who had a little bit more of an issue driving it.
Well, he's actually just cosplaying as Scott Dixon. He has another
and Scott Dixon was back there too, so I think that's fine.
He was there to throw us off. He was confusing us by just looking like Scott Dixon near Scott Dixon, which is always fun. And that's its own job, MJ. You can't expect him to do two.
That's true. Once. He has a role, and I just need to respect that.
Right.
Yeah, but after this like little battle between all the corners, Palou gets ahead, and then like you can like almost hear the Jaws music start. Mm-hmm. Like he smells blood in the water. He's like. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, he has a 10-second lead? What if, like, could I try? What if I did that?
I had a 10-second lead over him. That'd be insane.
He goes, my turn. And you can hear it. The broadcasters keep doing this. They keep going, like, I don't know, it's just probably not going to happen for him. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's going to have the tires. Saying, like, they're going to fall off.
They kept saying, like, he needs to pass Christian right now if he's going to beat Pato. Okay, right now, if he's going to be Pato. I'm like, guys, stop making it fun for him. The more you challenge him, the funner it is for him. He's having a good time with this. He's going to make you look stupid.
And he did. Because 5 laps later, he overtook Pato like nothing. Like, he was just, he's like, I'm just going to squeeze on by. So, from that moment on, there was no battle for anything. They did... as they're trying to go through lap traffic, this is when Will Buxton had the little incident where he was like, in my previous job, we would have team orders and McLaren would call Nolan Siegel to be like, hey, I need you to push back on Palou so that Pato can catch up and whatever. That didn't happen. I think Nolan was fighting his own demons at that time, which his demon was David Malukas. So he was like, he's like, I'm working. Like, if you couldn't keep the lead, it's none of my business.
Oh, poor guy. Ugh, rats. Well, I mean, I love Palou. I know some people are probably like, it's so boring. Like, Alex Palou dominance is gonna bore fans. Not me. Sorry. Oh my god, I just yawned into the mic. Like, I'm not bored of this, guys, I promise. I literally say Alex Palou dominance could bore fans as I yawn into the mic. But, like, I love it. I think it's fun because it's not like he's dominating in, like, a Max Verstappen 2023 way. Where it's like he gets pole and then he wins the race. Whatever. It's like he does it in a way he shouldn't be allowed to win. And it just feels like he's showing off in a way to keep us entertained. Unfortunately, he doesn't win $1 million this time for winning Thermal. He's probably like, that would have came in handy for the lawsuit with Arrow McLaren, the team I just crushed their dreams. So, anyways. Hey, no water off the duck's back. You know? It's all good.
The accent when you said that sounded crazy.
Hey, don't even worry about it. But shout out Alex Palou. You are very sneaky. Very sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. And he's probably going to win the championship again. Good for him. Right? Well, I guess we haven't got to an oval yet. I guess I should chill.
That's the thing, is the ovals. But now we have a Ganassi 1-2, because it's him, and then Scott Dixon. And then we have an Arrow McLaren 3-4 in the championship.
See, an Arrow McLaren 3-4 is probably less desirable.
Temporary.
Than a 1-2. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're probably not going to enjoy it as much as they would have if they would have just won this race today.
Beggars can't be choosers. Figure out how to win. What do you want me to do? You had, I think, probably one of the best cars out there.
No, they definitely do. It's probably because Zach Brown wasn't there. Because he was at the F1 race. That was a good transition. Do you ever get tired of me just nailing those? You know what I mean? It's like Andrea dominance could bore fans. And it's just me in a transition off with other people.
I think the thing that really makes the transition is after you acknowledge it and be like, I did a good job there.
I think that you guys, if you guys want to start ranking or like giving like ratings to my transitions in the comments, I would appreciate it to know when I did a good job and when I didn't. You know what I mean? It's important that we all get feedback. And this is what I contribute to the show. So we started the weekend with the mini DRS FIA Crackdown. I'm going to pretend like... What?
You said Crackdown.
I didn't. I said Crackdown. Me when I lie, MJ.
The mini DRS Crackdown. Yeah, I understand why the FIA wouldn't want that.
We can't have crackdowns around here. It's just not allowed. I'm sorry. So if you're not familiar, basically a bunch of teams, I think like McLaren is the most famous for it. I think I heard through the grapevine other people had similar things. I didn't care enough to research all of them.
Haas was one of them.
Fuck. Haas,
because
no.
Red Bull tattled on Haas. I was like, yeah, I'd be afraid of them too.
You are afraid of these guys, and it's just Ocon and Behrman.
These guys pointing to the back. You're afraid of them?
This is who you're scared of. It's just two really tall, lanky motherfuckers. These are who you're scared of. But essentially, they have these rear wings that like are just a little too flexible, and when the wind blows through it, it's like moving too much in a way that a DRS advantage would move. So basically, they were like, "We're gonna start fucking looking into this more and making sure it's sturdy." I was like, what are you gonna do, just like punch at it a little bit? Yep, it's good, doesn't move at all, because they, I guess, were already testing for this, but they were like, we're not testing hard enough. So like now they're gonna like have like a leaf blower at it, and they're gonna be like, see, it's moving. I don't know how technical evaluations work in F1, clearly, but they were like, no more of that. So then everybody was like, the era of McLaren dominance is over. Like, as if this was the only thing making McLaren fast. I was like, right, okay, well, that's probably not it.
It's over.
It's all over. The Norris Championship run ends after one weekend. Well, maybe. Well, we'll get to it. And they also had like a behind the scenes video of the opening credits being filmed, you know, the and it's like all of the drivers, whatever, looking like airbrushed a little too much, might I add. In that video, they had both Franco and Valtteri there filming intros for Mercedes and Alpine just to use later for when they ultimately get a seat.
That makes sense.
And I was like, right, so did Jack Doohan know that he was there filming an intro? Because that seems kind of just mean. Right? You know, it's just mean. But anyways, can we also talk about the Ferrari jizz hat?
Yeah.
That was crazy. That's all. Hey, wish you had made that.
Ferrari just like does this thing where they're like, what if we just add like a little bit of a texture to something and like don't think anything else of it for their merch? Like, what was it supposed to be? Do you know? Like, was it supposed to be, like,
it's supposed to be champagne. It's supposed to be, like, this is what their hat looks like when, like, they go on the podium and champagne jizzes all over them, essentially.
It was supposed to be champagne? Stop.
See, I don't understand why they had to make shorts for that idea. You know what I mean? It's like, that's where it was like, why'd you make the hat and the shorts? Right? Like, they get champagne on their shorts?
Like, sure. But it's like, the champagne is clearly moving, so, like, it's, like, shooting up their shorts. Like, are they, like, how are they spraying the champagne? Like, from the ankle up?
I don't know, MJ. Stop asking about what angle they spray.
Well, I didn't realize it was champagne. I thought it was supposed to be, like, water droplets, like, they're moving quickly. Or so. I don't know.
I think it
didn't make any sense to me.
I think it's champagne.
That's crazy.
I think that in Vegas last year, they made this horrible, horrible design choice that I famously shit on, okay? It was like sun bleached. So it was like they just took the red Ferrari jumpsuit and they made it like look, they said they were like, it got sun bleached in the Vegas sun, but I said it just looked like they were little chinchillas and they rolled around in a dirt bath.
Mm.
But like,
That's
they
fair.
just like, they always like kind of are like, what if we just took the regular stuff and made it weird?
Yeah, they're just adding like a texture from Kid Pics.
They had a velvet collection where they made like this sort of shirt, like a jersey team kit sort of shirt, but like out of velvet. And I was like,
I just don't know. And like their football shirts that they do for Coda, I'm like, what football is it?
Yeah.
It's not American football.
Right. And maybe it's soccer?
In Coda? At Texas?
Do they think we play soccer? Maybe they got confused.
They
did in Canada make a hockey jersey. They're like, you guys like this, right? This is what you guys
I
do
like
here?
that.
Yeah, well, it was like $150, so don't get your hopes up.
I don't like it that much.
But yeah, a jizz hat was crazy, and I didn't see Charles or Lewis wear it this weekend. Something tells me they saw the TikToks and they were like, hey, That's crazy.
They probably just saw the merch and were like, no.
Hey, no. I make too much money to be wearing jizz hats in my free time. Sorry. But we had a sprint race this weekend, which I just think was mean to the rookies. Because in a sprint race, you only get one practice, and then you get sprint quali. So in sprint quali, we had Liam Lawson out in Q1. This is a common theme. We'll see now. That's fun, right? You know, he just like couldn't get the tires down, which I was like, well, we could imagine because you were out in Q1. I think he literally qualified 20th. Like, it's like, yeah, no, I could imagine you couldn't get the tires down because we could tell you sucked. And then we had Hulkenberg, Ocon, and Gasly out qualified by their rookie teammates. That's fun.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then Lewis Hamilton got pole position, which going into the sprint race ended up being his first win for Ferrari. So, I don't know. Round of applause for Lewis Hamilton. I don't know. He's not washed. He's back.
He's so back.
He's so back. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll touch on that later of what that looked like, being so back, right? But this is where we kind of started to see things fall apart a little bit for Lando as well. He didn't do very well in sprint qualifying, and he made mistakes. He, I think got, lap times deleted and stuff like that. And then in the actual race for the sprint, it just got way worse. He dropped 3 places on the first lap, and then he got mad and started trying to fight his way back up the rankings in the sprint race and cooked his front tires to the point where they were like, can you even finish the race? He also completely mentally shut down. He was talking to his engineer and he was like, why am I even out here? Everything sucks. I'm so bad at racing, basically. And I was just like, bro, you're in 6th. I feel like we can turn it around.
I think
maybe
it'll
a little.
be fine.
I mean,
we'll be okay, bud.
He was acting like he hit the wall, essentially. He was literally acting like it was race over. And I was like, you just have a little tire deg on your front tires. I think we could come back from this, maybe. I don't know. But I was like, okay, China is not the place for Lando. And I think he does admit that. I'll give him credit. I think he straight up was like, this weekend's going to suck for me. I'm really bad at racing around here. And I was like, fair enough. At least we have some self-awareness. But probably not a great state of mind to be in 1 week into your time as the lead of the championship rankings. You know what I mean? We were thinking a little bit more inspiring, a little more fun is probably what we were thinking. So Lawson starts in 20th, and he comes into the sprint race and basically just starts acting like a menace. He has contact with Doohan, completely his fault. And then he also hits Bortoleto in the same place just later on in the race. But it's this one turn. He just was hitting everybody by basically going way too eagerly into the apex, where he shouldn't be. And I don't know, a lot of people were kind of divided on this of it shows that he has fight. He's doing what Checo didn't, which is he still has spunk and he's trying to go for it and fix being in P20 and get points if he can and fight for his way back up to the front. Other people were like, you're already fucking up, and now you're just getting aggressive with other drivers in the back and fucking up their races. What is your take on it?
Did he work his way back up?
No, I think the highest he was maybe 15th.
Yeah, I would say it simply does not matter how he drives. If he can't,
right.
If he's doing all these things, and I mean, the freaking Liam Lawson second Red Bull seat narrative is just so tiring to open and talk about it. It's we talk about this every single season. But, no, I don't care if he's driving with his elbows out versus what Checo did. If he's not doing much better than Checo, it's no, he's having the same issues just in a different font.
He's just doing it in a way that's frustrating to everyone around him.
Yeah, he's just taking out other people as well. Whereas Checo would spin himself a few times and we'd be like, Checo. But everyone else was fine. Yeah,
he was rats. And he'd be
Shoot.
Checo, that's not good. And he'd be like, I know, guys. But it was just him and himself. It was contained to just him.
He's taking other people as well. I don't know.
And it's he's picking on Jack Doohan and Gabriele Bortoleto, who are already fighting for their lives out there. It's the last thing they need is this guy coming in here and running amok. So I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's great that he's still trying. Hey, don't lose the spirit, buddy. Keep trying. Carlos had a horrible race. He had to actually go into the pits during a sprint race, which probably means that's not good. I think they just didn't expect him to cook his tires the way he did. And then they were like, we'll just fuck around in the back and get some testing data then if we're not going to get points. Yuki had a great race, however. He finished P6, which I think is a couple of places up from where he started. And the whole entire race, he had Kimi Antonelli within DRS range. And he was just like defending like a god. And Kimi Antonelli, I think, must have been losing his mind because he basically just had to do 19 laps of like Yuki's exhaust pipe in his face.
Staring at a V-carb.
Yeah, like I was like, oh my gosh. But I was like, kind of like, okay, Kimi's about to do something crazy. Like the commentators were like, Kimi's getting really angry out there being behind Yuki. But Yuki just was defending like a god. And I was really happy that he was able to get some points in the sprint because he had a horrible time in the race. So that's fun. Qualifying for the actual race, Lando had another lap time deleted for track limits. I think he did fine in the end, but it just like shows like he was just not having a good time around China. Lawson qualified 20th again. Fun. That's fun. And
likely place for him to be.
Yeah. And also likely place for them to be. The Racing Bulls had a great qualifying. In Q1, Isaac was in second place and Yuki was in third. And then a similar performance in Q2 and then in Q3, like they were there. Like, that's exciting. And yeah, that's where that story ends because then in the actual race, they made a horrible strategy call for both of them. And I think Yuki's front wing just broke all on its own. Didn't even hit anything. Just the air came at it too hard. So his entire front wing broke and they had to replace it. Everything went horrible. And I don't think Yuki got points. I don't remember if Isaac got points because we had the disqualifications, but they had a horrible race compared to where their qualifying performance was. And they definitely seem to have a better car for them, again, than the Red Bulls, which is like, again, how long till Max just goes, give me one of them?
Can I try one of those out for the weekend? Please?
Yeah, I think he, honestly, fuck it, I'll say it. Max could win the championship in the V-Carb.
Oh, yeah.
If he had a V-Carb car with a Red Bull strategy team, because the V-Carb strategy team is horrible.
That would be his downfall.
If they just, like, took the car and put a different, like, livery on it to make it look like the Red Bull, that was actually the V-Carb, he would win the championship.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would argue with that.
I think they're cooking that plan up right now as we speak. Like, they have a week off. Like, they're like, okay, can we paint this motherfucker blue real quick? Like, what are we doing here? Other highlights of the race, though. Ollie Behrman had a great race, which was really heartwarming to see after just brutal last week, crashing in practice a couple times, fucking around in the rain. Not his moment. It was also International Bear Day today, and he had a little sticker on his helmet that said International Bear Day.
That's cute. That's very cute.
Yeah, it's heartwarming and sweet. I love that. He also, heartwarming and sweet, decided to have a catchphrase, and I guess he did it twice during the race, but they only aired the radio once. He would just say ciao whenever he passed people. Which, isn't that what Pierre Gasly said to Esteban Ocon while he passed him? So,
absolutely.
I just think, like, are they that close now that he's, like, fighting a fight for Esteban?
It's like an inside joke. He's being petty on behalf of his new partner.
Right. I think that's so funny and sweet. The commentators were trying to be like, it's because he spent a lot of time in Italy.
No, it's never about that.
It's like, right. Okay. Well, I thought it was more fun that he might be petty, but sure, it's because he spent a lot of time in Italy, whatever the fuck that means. But I don't know. I think he should just say ciao every time he passes anybody from now on. I think that's actually the most heartwarming and sweet thing ever. I think more people should have catchphrases when they pass people. Thoughts?
No. I completely agree. There's nothing funnier than seeing someone fighting for their life and then, like, finally passing someone and you just hear that, ciao.
Ciao. Ciao. Yeah, I think, like, honestly, everybody should probably be workshopping a catchphrase. I think that's now, like, the best way for me to like you as a driver. And Ollie Behrman did it first. So, trend alert, catchphrases. Also, just generally on strategy, before the race, they had, like, a bunch of pre-made graphics by Pirelli that were like, this is definitely a two-stop race, everybody. You could never do this in one stop. Here's how you would do a two-stop strategy specifically. And then, like, 10 laps in, George Russell just radios in. This is definitely a one-stop race, by the way, guys. And everybody thought that he was bluffing. All the commentators were like, George Russell's so funny. He's bluffing. Nobody's actually going to do a one-stop. And then, like, everybody did a one-stop. So I don't know what the fuck was going on with, like, the tire situation. Like, I don't know if Pirelli was just goofing on everybody. They also said it's just because, like, generally it was, like, a lot cooler and, like, cloudier rather than it was, like, in practices and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's an actual reason for it. But it is just funny to think that Pirelli was like, guys, we didn't think you could do that. Stop doing that. The tires are going to explode. Please don't. Yeah, very few people did a two-stop, and the ones that did, they lost. Bad. So.
Bad.
Hate to be them. Doohan got a penalty. Almost got 2 penalties. I think he only ended up with 1. It was like a 10-second penalty for forcing Hadjar off the track. He also almost got another one for, like, moving under braking. And I was telling you, I was like, he was out there racing like he has the Max Verstappen privileges. Like, buddy, you don't get to move under braking or force people off track. You're not a 3-time world champion, 4-time world champion. You don't get to do that. But I don't know. I feel, again, they kind of were like, yeah, good for him. He's out there fighting for his career, which also it's crazy that the commentators keep saying that. But I'm also like, this isn't helpful, though. Like, I appreciate the drive, appreciate the energy. Not helpful for keeping your job, probably.
It would only be helpful if it, like, worked. But it's, like, him having these, like, penalties, like, same thing with Liam Lawson. Like, sure, him driving, like, aggressively would be helpful if it, like, worked. If he, like, gained a bunch of positions back and, like, won the love of Red Bull. It's not happening. So it's just, he's not fighting for anything. He's just, like, being silly.
Yeah. I mean, he does have the benefit of, he did better than his teammate this week. Because his teammate got disqualified.
Sure. Ciao. Hey, ciao.
But yeah, the only other thing that happened other than disqualifications, Lando had like really bad brake issues the last like 10 laps or so. And they basically were like worried that the car wasn't going to finish. And honestly, it was kind of interesting. Like, oh, McLaren's having like reliability issues. Like they literally were talking of like, are we going to be able to finish this race with Lando's car? And I just think like, it's been a while since we've had like that sort of issue with McLaren. Like they went last year pretty well with no reliability issues. But like imagine, oh my God, if he would have been in second place and then just DNF'd, like the only McLaren could pull something like that off. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that sounds very 2023 McLaren coded.
Yeah, right. But Oscar won.
Woohoo! Love an Oscar win. Did he take a bite out of I didn't see it. Did he take a bite out of the trophy? That looked like a cake, yes or no?
No. He just uploaded a video on Instagram that says, hey guys, I won, thanks.
I love that they make them do that. Like, Esteban Ocon, he had like his 5 up. He was like, sorry about the disqualifications, I got 5th.
Like, well,
5. I'm like, why did you post that?
Bye.
I got 5th. They said, hold up as many as you got.
I got this many.
I am Esteban Ocon and I have 5. That's not true. That's not. Does 5th place get 5 points?
No.
No. Yeah, so.
I got this many.
I'm this many. Today I am this many in China.
I think whoever filmed it. Good job, Esteban. Thank you. We'll see you in a couple weekends, okay? Have fun out there.
I love Haas. I love him so much. Those two
they're so
crazy
tall.
kids. It's giving Slender Man, and I love it.
Why are they so tall? It's so
very American
unsettling.
coded.
Honestly. But yeah. Then, like MJ said, there was all these disqualifications. And I don't remember where anybody finished because whatever I thought was real is no longer real. But essentially, both of the Ferraris got disqualified and Pierre Gasly. Because...
No.
No, I don't care. Charles and Pierre got disqualified for being underweight because they did a one stop, and I don't think that the intention was for them to do a one stop. So they did basically what George Russell did in Spa, which it was like, hey, what did we learn? You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to do a one stop, let's do some maths and make sure that that's going to work out first. Because if not, it's just really embarrassing. So basically, those two got disqualified for being underweight. And then Lewis Hamilton got disqualified for something completely different, some sort of technical thing. I don't know. You guys don't come here for the news. He just didn't get, he got disqualified. It was, I don't know. It's really hard, guys. It's something that they check for, and it wasn't thick enough. It was too thin.
It was too thin. It was a little plate. It was too thin. It's none of my business.
Don't ask me questions. I don't want to answer them. But what this means essentially is that Ferrari is now below the Williams in the championship standings. And honestly, that's all I needed to see. I stopped paying attention after that. I went, fuck it. Ferrari World Championship over. But honestly, though, like, a double DSQ is kind of a little bit like the Ferrari World Constructors Championship fight has to be over a little bit. Because, like, yeah, you're now betting on that, like, McLaren or somebody else that you'd be competing against in the end is also going to have 2 DNFs or 2 DSQs. And that's kind of a lot to ask for.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to
come back.
But we're only 2 races in. There's, like, what? 22 more.
Like I know a lot can happen. A lot can happen, but it's like 2 DNFs and 2 DSQs. Hard. That's a big ask. Also, that you guys won't have any DNFs for the rest of the season or DSQs. Right.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Maybe like once we get to the ovals or something, they'll pull something out.
Everything's gonna get crazy when F1 gets to the ovals.
When F1 gets to the ovals, I'm so excited to see like Williams double points. I haven't felt this way in years.
Yeah,
I am so excited.
I was excited, and then I found out it was Alex's birthday, and I actually teared up a little bit.
It was. He just turned 30,
it was his
29.
Birthday.
And he led the race for a few laps. That's about the time I dozed off. I was like, I tried to take a screenshot on my phone and YouTube TV wouldn't let me. And I said, I gotta go to bed now. I gotta sleep while I'm still high like this.
Yeah, you were like, it's time for me to go to sleep now and dream of this
what
forever.
I needed to see.
Oh my god, it was his birthday. Also, the last time Williams got double points, it was when Logan was on the team. Or last time Williams got double points when Logan was on the team, it was when Ferrari also got disqualified.
Yeah, and what can I say? We have to get rid of Ferrari if we want Logan back on the grid.
Also, it's like, I just am happy, like, lucky girl syndrome for Carlos. You know what I mean? I will say there are times with Carlos. I love Carlos, obviously my favorite driver. There are times though when James is just doing a little too much, like even for me. And there's times where I'm interrupting something. Like I feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like stop putting this on my feed. Somebody put like the after race radio between James and Carlos was like, I was like really trying out there. Like it just like wasn't connecting. Like I'm getting more comfortable in the car. I'm just like, I know I'm faster than this. And James is like, we know you're faster than this, Carlos. It's okay. We know you're faster. We're going to do this together. And
he said that to Logan too. And you know where Logan is now? He's on a yacht on a boat every single weekend.
Yeah. On a boat somewhere enjoying his fucking life probably. Mm-hmm. Did we ever figure out why he left Elms?
Mm-mm. He never said anything and neither did his app.
Has anybody done a wellness check on him? Like, that is kind of crazy.
He's on a yacht every single weekend. Sponsored posts on a yacht every single weekend.
Yeah, I saw one from him the other day. He was on, like, a fancy, like, boat that was, like, a sailboat, and he was, like, up at the top. He was like, it was, like, 12 stories high, and I was like, Logan, get down from there.
Logan, please get down. Get down. Right now.
I was like, I don't know about rich people's shit, but I just feel you shouldn't be up there, okay? Get down right now.
We're not messing around. Get back on the deck? I don't know.
Yeah, get back on the track. What are we doing? Are you okay? Like, you were signed up for something. You committed. You signed a contract to drive an Elms.
I think he just decided he didn't want to race anymore.
That's crazy that James Valls did that to him.
James Valls did that to me as well. Me and you both, Logan. I also don't race anymore. I barely even drive. It sickens me to get in my little blue car to go to work every morning, I think.
Logan
deserves better, and so do I.
This used to be me and Logan's connection. Us in our little blue cars.
Our little blue cars.
And now neither of us have this, or a dream. Oh, God. What are you, Logan, you gotta call into the pod. I gotta know you're okay. I gotta know what happened. Please. Come on, lap traffic. It'll be fun. But yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Carlos. I mean, happy he got 1 point. I guess I don't know. I used to be I used to be a fan of a real driver here. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like,
he's going to be so fine. I filmed a video recently because I'm starting to feel bad for the Carlos fans because I fully expected. Oh yeah, true. I did tell you guys, and none of you listened. But you have to go into every weekend as a Williams fan expecting double DNFs, expecting them to show up with not enough chassis, expecting them to be like, guess what, Carlos? Alex is driving your car this weekend. And then anything better than that happens, it's like elation, dude. It's ecstasy. Straight to the veins. So the fact that they're like Carlos got points and Alex got points, and sometimes Alex makes it to Q3. I don't think I've watched a Q3 at all last season. It's like all of a sudden
TV off before then.
Dude, usually Q2 halfway through they'd be like pulling Alex back to the garage, and I'd be like, hey, everyone else is still going. Do you think he's gonna go? As I'm like actively like turning off my TV, I'll be like, yeah, no, I know how this story ends.
I don't know. It doesn't feel good. I'm very happy that Oscar got a win.
Keep your head up.
I'm trying to like keep positive. Max managed to get a 4th in the Red Bull. I don't think we deserve that. Keeping positive. Oscar won. I'm having such a good time.
It'll get better.
It's going great. Yeah. I don't know. It's just also sad because it's like, I used to like watch Carlos be the number 2 driver. And I used to be like, go get him, Carlos. Like, go get Charles. Now I don't even feel that way because I'm like, no, I think we should let Alex have this. Yeah, I mean, like, he suffered a lot, you know, Carlos, long before you came here. We should just, it's his birthday.
Let him have it. He got to lead a couple laps. He's never done that before.
Yeah. So, I don't know. F1 was, I don't know, everything kind of feels a little bit boring in comparison to Australia. Do you think that maybe we started on too fun of a note? We had too fun of a time.
We came out of the gates pretty hot, and then, yeah, because it was like
now
a rain race.
Real normal.
We had all the rookies, and then we had like a sprint weekend, which was like, I didn't like transitioning to that. Mm-mm. And then what's next? Question mark.
Suzuka.
Oh.
Suzuka's kind of fun. I'm happy about that. That's fine. Suzuka. Yay!
It's not a sprint. Not sprint.
No.
Normal. Yeah, so I think we're going to kind of level out. We're going to...
Normal time.
Normal
time. Also, another weekend, by the way, of just Kimi Antonelli being like a fucking beast. I think he won Driver of the Day.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. Bless his heart.
I think he dethroned Lando Norris as Driver of the Day. And Lando's at home like, fuck!
No!
You can't keep taking this from me!
This is all I had!
This is my award! That's crazy. Do you think it's like... I think he's a great driver. Are people voting for him just because he has like fangirls now? Is there Kimi fangirls?
Lando? Oh.
Kimi.
I was like, Lando, yeah.
Because I thought fan favorite was just, or like Driver of the Day was just fan favorite.
It is 100%. I guess probably. I guess that's what we saw because he won. So
Kimi fan favorite now? Fuck it. Okay.
All right. Hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And on that, we can go ahead and wrap things up. Do you have anything else to say, MJ?
I don't think so.
Neither do I. Crazy weekend. We watched 3 races and we came out of it pretty good. We have just NASCAR next week.
Martinsville.
What do you guys think about those hot dogs? Everybody keeps talking about that. What makes the Martinsville hot dogs good?
Yeah,
Can somebody tell me?
What's going on there? Hot dogs?
What are they doing to the hot dogs, guys?
How are they do to the hot dogs in Martinsville? What are they doing to them?
What makes them better than other hot dogs? Just a question, because like you guys are really suspiciously hype about these hot dogs all the time, and like you're in our comments like, yeah, I have a Martinsville hot dog. I'm just
try
like
the hot dogs.
I'm just like, what's going on there? Better or worse than a Costco dog?
Ooh. Let us know.
Let us know. Okay, well, we'll see you guys back next week for Martinsville. And then we also, like I said, have a lap traffic on Wednesday. Keep an eye out for that. And thank you guys so much for 6 months. We had such a good time, and we'll have more good times to come. Okay, bye. Say bye, MJ.
Goodbye.